Hi there, it's Kate. Welcome back to my channel. It's been a while, hasn't it? I thought today I would start out with an explanation of where I've been for the last 5 months, and then I would do something I haven't done before, which is a haul. I wanted to do a library haul of the books that we've gotten from the library this week. So let's get started. First of all, where have I been? So I started my booktube channel in January, and literally I think I uploaded my first video, and the next day my husband and I found out that we were expecting our second child in September, which is really exciting, but it's meant that my energy level has just gone way down, and I'm just now kind of getting enough energy and feeling better enough to really do this. I've recorded videos, actually. I've recorded several videos, but haven't been able to edit them and upload them. So hopefully this one is the one that will make it up. We'll see. You can probably hear my cat. She's playing in the background. The dog is currently sleeping, and so is the toddler. Hopefully it will stay that way. Let's see how things go. So for my library haul today, I wanted to show off the books that I've gotten from the library, I've received from the library this week. We were on vacation last week, so we actually had turned in all of our library books. We're just kind of starting over fresh from the library, which is kind of exciting. It's always a good feeling to start fresh. And I have a pretty good selection. I have some poetry collections, some like novels and reading material for me, some kind of parenting type things, a couple kids books, and then I think I'll do a separate video for the books that, like the actual picture books that Grace is reading right now, because I think they warrant a separate video. So let's get started. Let's start out with the cookbooks. I've got 3 cookbooks from the library this week. Food52.com is a food website, a cooking website, and they do, over on Facebook, they have like a cooking club, a cookbook club every month, and they pick a different cookbook to cook from, and there's a baking one and a regular cookbook one. So Classic German Baking by Louisa Weiss is the baking book this month, and for the regular cookbooks, anything by Otto, which he has a bunch of cookbooks. So this is just the one that I've received so far. I already have plans tonight. There's a red lentil chard soup that we're going to try out of this cookbook. Classic German Baking, we'll see. I'm not sure. I'm not as sold. It's, a lot of it looks a lot more involved than what I currently have brain space for as far as cooking. The third cookbook that I'm excited to look through is called Marbled, Swirled, and Layered by Irvin Lin. And it's just about cakes. And I love cake cookbooks. Even if I don't make the cakes, I like to look through them and see all the different cake ideas that are out there. I think they're really exciting. So I'm excited about this one. Okay, next we have some, I don't know, parenting type of books. This book is called The Magic of Motherhood by Ashley Gadd. I'm not 100% sure if I'm actually going to read this. I checked it out because I thought it was an interesting idea. Kind of a motherhood memoir, which is an idea that in theory is very intriguing to me, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's going to play out in practice, so we'll see about this one. And then this is called The Curious Kids Science Book, and this is, as it says, 100+ creative hands-on activities. And they're like science experiments for kids, and it says it's for ages 4 through 8. I think I can modify them, some of them, for my 2-year-old. This book came highly recommended from the toddler group that we go to. So I'm excited to look through this and get some cool ideas for summertime activities. Next, I have two poetry collections. The first is Rest in the Morning by R.H. Sin. I started this one. So far, it's not exactly what I thought it would be. It's something that I think would have been very powerful perhaps before I met my husband, but doesn't speak to me quite as much at this stage in my life, but we'll see if that continues as it goes on. And then the second one is Resistance, Rebellion, Life, 50 Poems Now. It's just a collection of 50 political poems. I requested this one because Maggie Smith has a poem in here. Maggie Smith wrote the poem Good Bones, which is kind of, I don't know, I feel like it's an anthem for the times in the U.S. right now. It's a poem that really came to my attention after the election in November and has stuck with me, and I really, really like her poetry, so I'm excited to read more of these poems and find some more of the same. Next is a book called The Earth Book. Sometimes I like to get books like this that I know are too old for my toddler now, but they're either something that she might like in the future or something that, like Christmas present ideas for my nephews who are slightly older. And this is really a cool book. It's kind of encyclopedic in that it gives a lot of information about a lot of different kind of natural phenomena, animals. There's one page in here that's how weather works, which I think is really interesting, and there's some dinosaurs. The illustrations are really accessible and beautiful, and I love the cutouts on the front cover. I'm really into that recently. I think that's really cool. So this one is one that we'll be looking at a little bit more. This is a book called Pocketful of Posies. It's a book of nursery rhymes, so none of these are brand new, but the illustrations are all needlework, which I thought was a really interesting idea, and I'm interested to see if my daughter will appreciate this book or not. She hasn't had a chance to see it yet, so we'll see. Next, I got some middle grade books, or young adult, middle grade / young adult type books that I'm excited to read. This is Maud by Melanie Fishbane. This is a fictionalized retelling of the life, young life of Ellen Montgomery, obviously the author of the Anne of Green Gables series, among many other books. So I'm excited to see how this one goes. I've heard great things about it. This is a middle grade book called The Wild Robot by Peter Brown. This is a book about a robot who ends up on an island with no recollection of how or why the robot got there, and the inside cover calls it a nature meets technology story, which I think is really interesting, so I'm excited to delve into this one. And then finally, this is Mary Anning's Curiosity by Monica Colling. This is a very short book. It's about, let's see, it's about 100 pages. It's about Mary Anning, who was a paleontologist, one of the first female paleontologists in Britain, and the reason that I requested this one is actually because of the illustrator. I'll do a separate video about the picture book that this illustrator worked on that I've fallen in love with, but this is her most recent published work, and so I requested this, and hopefully the text will be as great as the illustrations. See, there are some black and white illustrations on the inside as well. So we'll see how this one is as far as the reading of it goes, but I already know that the illustrations are going to be beautiful. Finally, we have the books that I got for myself to read for fun, and there are 6 books here, so we'll see if I can get through all 6 of these books in the month. We'll see. The first I've already started. It's Assassin's Quest by Robin Hobb. This is the 3rd book in the Farseer trilogy. I read the first 2 last month, and as you can see, I've already started this one. I like these books. The beginnings are a slog for me. I don't know, I think because the books are largely about the main character and his kind of personal development and growth. So he comes across very whiny in like the first 100 or so pages of the books, and I just have a really hard time reading that. I almost put down the first one. I was within literally 2 pages of putting down the first book because I just did not want to read any more about this whiny man. So, but then they get better because then I pick up the next one. So I'm excited to read this one and finish this trilogy and then decide if I want to keep reading more Robin Hobb books. This is The Strays by Emily Biddle. This was highly recommended by Kendra Winchester over on her YouTube channel, and I heard her review and immediately went and put myself on the hold list for my local library because it sounded like such a good book. So we'll see how this one goes as well. Third, we have The Shadowland by Elizabeth Kostova. I read The Historian, which was her previous book, I believe, or I listened to it on audiobook several years ago and was drawn into it, so I'm excited to read this one. I think I've heard that this is maybe not as good as that one, so we'll see. It takes place in the same part of the world takes place in Bulgaria, and that's about all I know about it, so I kind of like going in blind to most books. Next is a memoir, Tell Me Everything You Don't Remember, about a youngish woman, my age actually, who has a stroke and how she has to put her life back together after having that stroke. This has also been highly recommended, so I'm not 100% sure I'm actually going to read this one. This might be too heavy for me to read. We'll see. We'll see. Next is House of Names by Kwon Toy-bin. This is an Agamemnon retelling, so this is like way outside anything else I feel like on this list, but I think it'll be fun to give it a try. That's literally all I know about it, that it's an Agamemnon retelling, and I could not tell you the original Agamemnon storyline, so that should make this interesting. Finally, last book, Salt Houses by Hala Alian. This is about a displaced Palestinian family starting with the Six-Day War in 1967, yeah? Six-Day War, 1967? Yep, 1967. So, again, that's all I know about it. I think it will be, I think the refugee story will be very interesting. I'm excited to read this. That's basically all I know about this one as well, but I think it should be a good read. Have you read any of these books? Do you have any suggestions which I should read first? If you do, let me know down below. Leave me any comments. Feel free to give me a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will talk to you next time. Thanks so much. Bye.